Yes, sir. I just wanted to make sure I was in the right spot.
You are right where you need to be.
Okay, good.
All right, I'm back. I apologize for that. Larry, can you hear me all right?
I can, Your Honor. Thank you.
Pate,
I can hear you fine, Judge.
Paul?
Yes, Judge.
Good. I heard the gentleman's name that was here. Is this Mr. McCarter?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Call 2022 CR1 State of Kansas versus Dustin McCarter. Council could have appearances, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court. Larry Marchinsky, County Attorney on behalf of the state of Kansas, sir.
Your Honor, Chris Pate appearing on behalf of Dustin McCarter, who appears by Zoom.
Okay. Matter shows be on for bond appearance this afternoon. Mr. Pate, fairly new to the case. What can we do today?
Your Honor, we were just appointed and just received discovery. I would ask for August 11th, and hopefully by then we're in a position to make an announcement to the court.
Morsinski?
No objection, sir. That sounds great. Thank you.
August 11th at 1:30. Mr. McCarter, thank you for your appearance this morning.
Yes, sir.
Contact Mr. Pate, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too, sir.
Thank you.
Um, 2022 CR136, State of Kansas versus Brian Jarvis.
Again, Your Honor, may it please the court. Larry Marchinsky on behalf of the state of Kansas.
Your Honor, Chris Pate appearing on behalf of Brian Jarvis. I don't see him here. I talked to him about 30 minutes ago, and he said he was going to be at the courthouse for his appearance.
Guy in the middle is the lawyer.
Well,
Judge.
see if this is him. Is there Mr. Jarvis in the courtroom?
No.
I don't see anybody. I think he's out there.
He's outside, sir.
Okay, can somebody,
Yeah, we are.
I
Okay.
notified him.
thank you.
You're welcome.
You're Mr. Jarvis?
Yes, sir.
We've got our attorney appearances. Mr. Pate's appearing with you, but via Zoom. Mr. Pate, you're new to the case, but what can we do today?
Your Honor, I did reach out to Mr. Marchinsky about a possible resolution to the case, and I'm not sure if he's seen that email yet or not, but I'm awaiting a response on that. Hopefully we can get something worked out. I'm not sure if the court prefers to keep this on a status docket until we make a determination, or if the court prefers to set it for prelim. But if we're going to keep it on status, I would request that same August 11th date.
Status less than 10. Well, we'll see what Mr. Marcinski says the case posture is. If it's still for status, we'll do that.
Yeah, but I don't have any objection to that date. I did see Mr. Pate's email. I haven't had an opportunity to respond, but I will get a response to him before the end of the week. So we should have an announcement by that next time.
Okay. August 11th at 1:30, we'll show it for status. I'll note you'll pick a prelim date on August 11th if you don't have an agreement reached.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jarvis, you have any questions, sir? Did you hear about what we did?
No questions, Your Honor.
Okay, August 11th at 1:30, please stay in contact with Mr. Pate.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your appearance today.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Pate, any other cases for you at 1:30?
Your Honor, I believe that's all I have on the docket today.
Good to see you. Thanks for your appearance.
Thank you.
Got a 2021-0243 State of Kansas versus Zachary Deffenbaugh. Council, could I have appearances, please?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Larry Marchinsky, County Attorney on behalf of the state of Kansas.
Richard Paul on behalf of Zachary Deffenbaugh, who does appear via Zoom, separate from council.
Thank you. Matters on the court's docket today for status. Mr. Paul, where do you believe we're at?
Judge, we need to set this for a preliminary hearing, please.
Your Honor, I advised Mr. Paul I was going to be requesting somewhere around 3 weeks. So whatever works for the court's calendar.
Okay.
Generally around that time, somewhere around,
Yeah, three weeks to a month is fine with me, Larry, Mr. Marchinsky.
So Judge Mott's on vacation the first 2 weeks of August. I'm not sure if I have any availability. So would week of the 15th work for council?
Which day, Judge?
See, he's got any time on Monday, August 15th and the morning of Wednesday, August 17th.
either one of those dates is fine. If those would work for Mr. Paul's calendar, I can.
I'm scheduled for a jury trial that I think is going to go, Judge. So I would hate to double book like that.
Got the morning of Monday, August 22nd.
Yes.
Would work well for me.
Okay. Start at 9 or 9:30. Larry, when's he start those?
Usually 9:30, sir.
9:30, Mr. Paul?
That'd be great. We going to be doing this in person?
Yeah, prelims we do in person in the
No
court.
problem.
August 22nd, 9:30 a.m. That's in person for prelim. Parties and council appear in person. And we'll get it scheduled up. Mr. Paul, anything else for today?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Marcinski?
No, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Deffenbaugh, did you hear what we did today? Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, please stay in contact with Mr. Paul.
All right.
Thank you for your appearance.
Thank you.
Paul, any other cases for you?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Good to see you as well. Thanks for your.
You too. We'll talk to you, Larry.
Take care, Rich. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Larry, that's all I show for the 1:30 docket.
Yep. I haven't spoken to Mr. Brown too much. I know one case is set for plea. We kind of got away from this, so I'm not sure what his announcements on some of the other cases are, but I'm here ready.
No, he's got at least one client here waiting on him in the courtroom. I don't see him, Mr. Brown, in person, so we'll see what we have. Mr. Macy, is 2 o'clock going to work for you, or do you need 2:31 or 2:30 or what?
I think it'll work for me, Judge.
2 o'clock? Okay, thanks.
See you then.
What's your lawyer's name?
Brown.
Hmm.
The one that they were just talking about.
Yeah. Okay. It's a big money. Tell blind man could see that across the street. And I'm blind.
It's 98 degrees outside.
Then at the time now,
Hmm?
it's probably hotter than it's hotter than that out there.
Yeah. It's a heat index. And the humidity. This is my nap time.
The court picks back up here shortly at 2. You'll want to make sure your phones are either silent.
Mhm.
vibrate.
Thank you.
Already got mine turned off.
Yeah, mine's down.
Mhm.
When you turn yours off when you're still on it.
I don't have to have the sound on.
No.
It's turned off, see? The red thing?
Yeah.
I mean, it's turned off. And I've already got the thing all the way down, see? No ringer, no sound. You won't say a thing. Nope, it won't say, you won't hear a word out of it. Not in a peep.
Sure about that?
You say that a peep, huh?
I'm sure. Send me a text and I'll show you. You probably don't know how to send me one, Grandma. See? Are you tech savvy? Mhm. You have to have my number first. Oh, what do we have here? Homemade pie. Hey, you didn't hear that out of my phone. Yeah. Mhm. Where do you get these at?
My cousin made them.
Who did?
My cousin.
Those look scrumptious.
Yes,
Mhm.
that he was old school, old school brought up by a senior citizen. And he said, thank you very much. He says, and
What do you say?
the lady said, your mama must be proud of you. And he said, yes, she is.
So what he said?
Yeah, they bring up the water balls.
Oh,
Oh,
Thanks, down.
we started.
Mhm.
First other cases was like,
Mhm.
we gotta wait 3 hours.
Mhm. Yeah, over there.
we got deep down berries.
In court. Nope, wrong date.
All right. Recording back going. Mr. Brown, you hear me all right? You are muted.
Like you responded, but you're muted.
I'm sorry. Yes, good afternoon. Thank you, Larry.
My first journal entry would be 2022 CR 122 State of Kansas versus Amber Fox. Council, could I have appearance, please?
Larry Marchinsky on behalf of the state, Judge. That's not on my docket. Ms. Fox.
I don't have Amber Fox on my docket either.
I've got a.
It's Amber Sokolov.
Yeah, she appeared this morning in regards.
All right. Hold
She
on.
appeared this morning in regards to Mr. Levi's case, Anthony Levi's case, requesting that the no contact order be lifted. Judge Mott addressed.
Oh, Amber Sokolov. Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, 22-0122. Yes, on behalf of the defendant, Mike Brown, via Zoom, and I think she appears via Zoom. I saw her there somewhere. Judge, I believe this morning she appeared to have the no contact order lifted in the co-defendant's case. And I believe she and he are to appear this afternoon, and he's going to make the same request of the court.
I don't know if Mr. Levi is going to appear this afternoon or not, but he made that request this morning in court, and I advised the Judge Mott at that time I wasn't going to object.
Oh, okay.
That Mr. Anthony, Levi Anthony.
Yes, Your Honor. We had his case this morning. It got set aside for future disposition, but Ms. Sokolov or Ms. Fox appeared and requested that the no contact order be lifted at that time. I did not object to it in regards to Mr. Anthony's case or Levi Anthony's case. Judge Mott ordered that she appear with her counsel, Mr. Brown, to make the same request in her case. Mr. Levi announced from the jail this morning that he did not object to the court making that modification. And I advised the parties this morning I wasn't going to object.
Well, thank you.
So Mr. Anthony appears via Zoom application. Attorney's Matt Metcalf. So Mr. Anthony, don't necessarily blurt out anything unless I ask you about it. But Mr. Metcalf does not appear. Everybody, Mr. Marcinski, you're comfortable that through counsel, Mr. Metcalf, that Mr. Anthony requests the same no contact order be modified from his bond to allow contact with Ms. Fox Sokolov.
That is correct, Your Honor. And the only reason Judge Mott wouldn't do it this morning is he wanted Mr. Brown to have an opportunity to have input if he chose he wanted to.
Mr. Anthony, that's still your position, sir?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. Mr. Brown?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. As far as 2022 CR 121, Levi Anthony, 2022 CR 122, Amber Sokolov, court will modify those bonds to allow contact with one another. I assume those are the only co-defendants to concern, but the court will go ahead and modify that. If Mr. Anthony was given a date this morning, that date will continue to be the appropriate. Ms. Sokolov will be required to be back July 28th at 2 o'clock as previously ordered. Mr. Brown, anything else on this case?
No, sir. We already have another court date, so I do not need the court to set a date today.
Right.
It was July 28th is the next court date.
July 28th at 2 o'clock. Ms. Sokolov, please stay in contact with Mr. Brown. Mr. Anthony, appreciate your appearance again this afternoon. Stay in contact with Mr. Metcalf. Your next court appearance was what? August 18th.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Yes, sir.
Anthony. Status. Okay. About 2022 CR 138, State of Kansas versus Daryl Marshall. He is in the courtroom and counsel could have appearances, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Matt. Sorry.
On behalf of the defendant, Mike Brown, Judge, we just received appointment paperwork yesterday, so it's a pretty new case, but I did receive discovery at the same time. I'm gonna need some time to get up and running. Let me see here. I'm out of town the 4th. I'm testifying. Wow, I'm gonna have to ask for August 18th, Judge.
Mr. Marcinski,
No objection, sir. It is Mike's first appearance on this. It's a fairly simple case. Hopefully we can have it worked out by then.
Mr. Marshall, as I noted, appears in the courtroom. He's traveled from some distance to be here. Mr. Marshall, this is Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown will be in contact with you. Please stay in contact and as he directs. And it's totally possible for you to appear by Zoom for your next court appearance. Do you understand that, sir, to avoid the travel?
Yes, sir.
You have,
I was given his phone number by Ms. Targos. I will call you after the docket, sir.
Okay, okay.
do you have any other questions, Mr. Marshall?
No, sir.
Did you say August 18th, Mr. Brown?
Please.
August 18th at 2:00, in person or by Zoom, however you and Mr. Brown work that out, Mr. Marshall. Thank you for your appearance, sir.
Thank you, sir.
2022 CR 15, State of Kansas versus David Shapley. Council, could I have appearances, please?
Yes, Your Honor, may it please the court. Larry Marchinsky, County Attorney on behalf of the state of Kansas.
Here, on behalf of the defendant, Mike Brown, Judge, we had this matter resolved through plea negotiations. Here's my problem. I'm out of state August 4th, and then I got hit with a subpoena to testify in Sedan, Kansas on August the 11th. So I'm gonna have to ask for August 18th for plea.
Mr. Morsinski?
No objection, sir.
Matters continued to August 18th, 2:00, show for plea.
Now watch, they'll call me 2 days before and say they don't need me. It never fails.
In 2022 CR 70, State of Kansas versus Khalif Strotter.
Yes.
Council, could I have appearances, please?
County Attorney Larry Marchinsky on behalf of the state of Kansas, sir.
You know, on behalf of the defendant, Mike Brown, Judge, I have him coming in about 10 days. May I have the 28th, and we'll have an announcement for court and counsel.
Mr. Morsinski.
No objection, sir. Thank you.
Matters continued to July 28th at 2:00. And show that for plea, Mr. Brown.
Hopefully.
Okay. Got 2 clients for you in the jail, Mr. Brown.
Yes, sir.
Do we have Mr. Humphrey?
Let me look him up here.
All right, and if the jail can, there you go. Mr. Humphrey, can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
All right, 2021 CR 333, State of Kansas versus Richard Humphrey. Council, could I have appearances, please?
Thank you, sir. Larry Marchinsky, County Attorney on behalf of the state of Kansas.
Your Honor, on behalf of Mr. Humphrey, Mike Brown, he appears from jail through Zoom. Judge, we just got this case a couple days ago. I did receive the discovery yesterday. May I have the 28th get up and running? Perhaps we can have this resolved by then.
Mr. Marcinski?
That's fine, sir. No objection. Thank you.
May I say something?
That ought to be directed through Mr. Brown. What?
I was just needing to, if I can possibly get OR'd out, because I have to get back to Chanute. That's where I'm living. I have a job there, and that's where my current residence is. And I haven't been here since November of 21 or too, so I need to get back out as soon as possible.
Understood.
You've been in our jail since November 21st?
No, that's when I moved out of Wellington.
Oh, okay, I'm
I
sorry.
haven't lived in the area since then, and I need to get back to my job. They can only hold it so long.
Shows the warrant was returned July 11th for an arrest around that date and time. Mr. Humphrey, put all that information for Mr. Brown. Next time you talk to him, he knows how to get a hold of Mr. Marcinski or put it back before the court for a bond modification request. Okay?
Tell you what, Judge, I'll keep the 28th. I'll get a bond motion on file for the 21st.
Okay. Do that. Thank you, Mr. Humphrey. And do we have a Mr. Branning? Twenty 21 CR 326, State of Kansas versus Terry Branning. Council could have appearances, please.
Thank you, sir. Larry Marchinsky, County Attorney on behalf of the state of Kansas.
Your Honor, on behalf of the defendant who appears via Zoom, Mike Brown, Judge, we just got appointed yesterday, but we did receive the discovery. So may I have 2 weeks to the 28th to get this matter resolved, hopefully.
Mr. Marcinski,
No objection, sir.
case continued July 28th, 2 o'clock for status.
Can I request an OR bond myself?
You cannot today put all that information. We have a process we're going to go through. Put that all through Mr. Brown. I'm sure we'll keep the 28th, as he said, on the gentleman before you, and he can put a motion on file with your information.
Okay, I'll get it on file for next Thursday.
Mr. Brown,
I think that's my docket.
any other cases? I have no other journal entries for you, sir. Are you covering for Elaine, or do we anticipate her showing up?
Oh, I spoke with her Monday or Tuesday. I think she's coming home Thursday or Friday. These, maybe counsel can tell me, are these new cases, counsel?
No, it's an older case that we had a plea worked out on, and we were waiting on a professional opinion from an immigration attorney because Mr. Contrero has some less than citizenship status. I have to be honest, I can't remember. I know Elaine had reached out to the local immigration authority to get a professional opinion from him, and we had set the case aside to today.
Well, listen, may I do this? Let me step out. I'll see if I can contact her by phone. I'll be right back if that works for you folks.
We can just pick another date, and then I'll hold it till unless she shows up at 2:45, and if she doesn't, that'll just be the date.
Well, if she doesn't show up, give me the 21st. I'll get with her and I'll appear on her behalf next week if she can't make it. But I think she's going to start doing Zoom next week.
Okay, Mr. Marcinski, the 21st, and we'll see if she shows up at 2:45.
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you and have a good afternoon, gentlemen.
See you, Mike. Have a good one.
Thank you, Larry. Where am I? Okay.
Anything else for the 2 o'clock, Mr. Marcinski?
No, sir. No, sir.
Mr. Macy, impeccable timing. Keep it up. We'll see you again at 2:45. Oh, he's locked up. He can't say anything. Garza, can you hear us okay?
Yes, I can.
All right. Got one defendant with 3 cases for you at 245. We've got 2022 CR 78, 2022 CR 72, 2021 TR 1032, all the state of Kansas versus Wilmer Cantorero. Counsel, can I have appearance, please?
Yes, sir. May it please the court, Larry Marchinsky, County Attorney on behalf of the state of Kansas.
The defendant appears apparently not in person, but by counsel Elaine Maria Sparsa.
And matters on the court's docket today for plea for all 3 cases. There's been an extended continuance to today's date for some sort of summary or recommendation to be had. Ms. Esparza, what can we do today?
Judge, Mr. Marchinsky and I have worked out a plea agreement, but I have forwarded Mr. Cantorero's information to an immigration attorney, and I have not heard back from him. I did contact him just before I went in for surgery, and at that time he hadn't even looked at the information I'd given him. But I can't let my client plead until I know how this is going to affect his immigration status. So I'm going to be asking for another continuance. And once I get back to my office better, I will contact the immigration attorney again and see if he's got any news for me.
Okay. What date might you propose?
What about, well, yes, Thursday. What about August 18th?
Mr. Marcinski.
That's fine, Judge. No objection to that. I know Mrs. Sparza needs time to get back up to speed, and we've been waiting on that immigration attorney for a while. So we're kind of beholden to that gentleman's calendar. So if that's what time she needs, no objection.
Okay. All 3 matters to August 18th, 2:45. Show all 3 for plea, or at least an update on the status of the evaluation.
All right. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Hope you're healing well.
Well, yes, it's just very awkward having your arm in a block sling.
Sure.
So
Keep plugging along. Appreciate your appearance today.
Glad to have you back, Elaine. Hope you're feeling better. See you soon.
oh, I feel fine. I'm just limited. It's my left hand and I'm left-handed.
Oh.
Yeah. So this is the time to aggravate me, Marchinsky, because I won't be able to do anything about it. All right. Thank you both.
I wouldn't try a one-armed Esparza at all.
No.
I wouldn't do it.
I don't know how I can leave. Here we go.
Okay, all I have till, we got one at 3 o'clock and a couple at 3:30, Mr. Marcinski.
Yeah, the state's going to be requesting a continuance on Mr. Cox. Mr. Rouge is anticipated to be at plea. And holy crap, I just talked to Chris not 2 hours ago and I forgot what announcement he gave us on Mr. Worth, but they'll be on at 3:30. I talked to Mark Schonifer a few weeks ago, but I don't know what his announcement is on Pelkey. So I'll be here just waiting for you to come on board.
Is Mr. McConnell appearing on Mr. Cox, or we just go ahead, you have that date? We need-
I think he's planning on appearing. He and I have emailed back and forth over the last couple of days, and I advised him today I was going to request 2 weeks.
And anything for the 345 that you know about?
That is Ms. Zogelman and Mr. Peck. I think that they have a disposition worked out, but I'm not exactly sure what the announcement for today is.
Understood. Okay, see everybody at 3 o'clock.
I'll be right here. So as soon as somebody logs on, I'll pop back in.
Thank you. Schoenhofer, you hear me okay?
I can hear you well, Judge. Thanks.
Please press 2. If you would like to open a case,
I'm here. Sorry, Judge.
if you are an attorney, an employer, or an outside agency,
Deal with that later.
No problem at all. Recording is going. 2022 CR 114, State of Kansas versus Jason Pelkey. Council could have appearances, please.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. May it please the court. Larry Marchinsky, County Attorney on behalf of the state of Kansas.
And Your Honor, Mr. Pelkey appears with me in my office, and he's spying through me, Mark Schoenhofer, his attorney.
Thank you. Mr. Schoenhofer, what can we do today?
Well, Judge, I think what we're on track for a preliminary hearing, and I guess let's just go ahead and set one. If that sounds okay with you, Larry.
Of course. Give me one moment. My Flex is dragging bottom. So give me a second here. I looked at this earlier today, but I've already forgotten.
Let's see, the soonest available Monday, anytime Monday, August 15th, or the morning of Wednesday, August 17th.
Either of those days would work. I cannot do Monday in the morning. I've got a matter here in Sedgwick County. That afternoon I'm available, and it appears that I'm available all day the 17th.
All right, Mr. Morsinski?
Judge, I'm just catching myself up to date on the case. I believe I would need to call at most 2 witnesses. So we're talking about an hour to an hour and a half tops. We'd already looked at those dates earlier today, and I was available for whatever works for Mr. Schoenhofer's calendar is fine.
Okay. Your pick, Mr. Schoenhofer. I don't.
Let's do Monday afternoon if the court's available then, 1:30, something like that.
So prelim for August 15th.
That's tomorrow. Oh, August. I'm sorry. Never mind.
Larry, you sound a little flustered today.
It's been a long day, Mark. I can tell you. Okay, August 15th.
August 15th, 1:30, parties and council appear in person.
Okay, we'll see you all then. Thank you for taking it up.
Yes, sir. Appreciate your appearance. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good seeing you. Bye-bye.
Okay. That'll get us to the 3:30, Mr. Marcinski.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh. All right, Larry, you hear me?
Yes, sir, can.
Mr. Broyles, I know you're on mute, but can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Your Honor.
All right, 2022 CR 32, State of Kansas versus Ryan Cox. Council could have appearances, please.
May it please the court, Your Honor, Larry Marchinsky, County Attorney on behalf of the state of Kansas.
May it please the court, Mr. Ryan Cox appears in person via Zoom, by and through counsel Tanner Broyles.
Matter shows on the docket for plea today. What can we do, Mr. Broyles?
Your Honor, if I might interrupt, I had emailed Mr. McConnell earlier today advising him that I was going to be requesting a 2-week continuance. Mr. McConnell or Mr. Broyles and I need to work through some language in regards to the plea that we're trying to accomplish. I have a meeting with the victims on next week on Tuesday, the 19th at 1:30. So I advised Mr. McConnell I was going to request 2 weeks to July 28th. I don't know if that works with his schedule or not.
Mr. Broyles?
Yes, that would work for the defense, Your Honor.
Okay. Matter be continued to July 28th, 3:30, in person or by Zoom. Mr. Cox, please stay in contact with your attorney and do as they direct as to your appearance. You're ordered to appear on July 28th at 3 o'clock. I'm sorry, 3:30, excuse me. Anything else for today, Mr. Broyles?
Nothing from defense. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you for your appearance.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Mr. Zalator, you ready?
Yes, sir.
2022 CR1, State of Kansas versus Thomas Rouge. Council could have appearances, please.
May it please the court, sir, Larry Marchinsky, County Attorney on behalf of the state of Kansas.
Your Honor, this is Kevin Zolator, appearing on behalf of the defendant. I do expect him on. Is he not in a waiting room, maybe?
He is not. I've got nobody, but I'm happy to move on to the other case if that's easier and see if he shows up.
Well, Judge, I'll tell you what my plan is. Mr. Ruge is going to plead to DUI. We'll need a sentencing date. Then I was going to set over the other case to whatever date we chose there. Are we your only cases? I'll give Mr. Ruge a call right now and see where he's at. If I can just have a minute.
Sure.
Thank you.
Larry, are you anticipating Mr. Mank on Daryl Johnson? It's on one docket, but not on my IQ docket.
Judge, I submitted an order yesterday that my Judge Mott signed off on. I dismissed that case. Mr. Johnson was able to pay full restitution up front to the victim in the amount of $4,553. So there was an order disseminated yesterday dismissing the case and ordering that those funds be distributed to the victim. So that should have been removed from our docket today.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Your Honor, they're trying to call him right now. I spoke with him, and I mean, he knows to be on here. So I I'm not thinking he's not going to show up. That's why.
Sure.
For just a little time, I apologize. I know we sent him the Zoom instructions. They're trying to call him now and see what's going on.
Okay, no problem.
Your Honor, my client says he's looking at a screen that says waiting for the host to let him in or to start the meeting. What does it say? It's under a name Tasha. He's using his girlfriend's phone. No.
Unfortunately, I don't have anybody in the waiting room.
Tell him to log out and then let's make sure he's got the right information. They had the wrong link, Your Honor. I'm giving it to them right now. They should be on in just a minute.
Sure. We've got him now. I'm letting him in.
I apologize, Your Honor. It appears it was our fault. We sent him the wrong link. It was not his fault at all.
Sure, no problem. And how do you pronounce his last name? Rugi?
Yeah. Yes. Thomas, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Come on.
If that's you, Thomas, mute it.
I don't know how.
Can you go somewhere where the baby is not?
Yeah.
Okay. Sir, we've called your case. We've got the appearances of counsel. Mr. Zolator, why don't you announce whatever the plea agreement might be?
Your Honor, in this case, my client will be pleading to a DUI, believed to be a second offense with a joint recommendation for 48 hours, followed by house arrest. We will need to set that over so he can get a alcohol and drug evaluation. I don't think we discussed the fine, but I assume it's the mandatory minimum fines, standard terms of probation. Then the state would be dismissing all other counts.
Mr. Marcinski,
Sounds correct, sir.
Mr. Ruge, is that your understanding of the plea agreement, sir?
Yes, sir.
And is it your desire to plead guilty to count 2, driving under the influence of alcohol and or drugs, a second offense today?
Yes, sir.
All right. So that's a Class A non-person misdemeanor. Mandatory minimums are found in statute. Maximum penalties are up to 12 months in jail and up to a fine of $2,500. Do you understand the maximum possible penalty, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. We're going to go through just a couple rights. I'm going to ask you some questions. I want to make sure you understand those questions. So if you have any question, let me know. I'll repeat the question or I'll explain it further. If at any point you want to take a recess and talk to Mr. Zolator, just let me know. I'm happy to grant that opportunity. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Sir, do you understand you have a right to a trial by jury, and for you to be found guilty, a 6-person jury would have to unanimously agree that you're guilty of this crime?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that in this trial, the state of Kansas would have to bring in witnesses to testify against you in open court?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that you and your attorney would have the opportunity to cross-examine the state's witnesses, and that you have the right to obtain witnesses, to use the power of subpoena to compel witnesses to appear and testify in your defense?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that the state of Kansas must prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt and that you are not required to prove your innocence?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that you have a right not to incriminate yourself, a right not to testify at trial, and you are not required to plead guilty here today to count 2?
Yes, sir.
You understand if you do plead guilty, you will basically agree and admit that you've done what the state of Kansas alleges you've done in count 2.
Yes, sir.
You understand if you plead guilty today, we will not have a trial.
Yes, sir.
You have any questions?
No, sir.
To the charge then made in count 2 of Sumner County case 2022 CR1, alleging violation of KSA 8-1567A3, driving under the influence of alcohol and or drugs, styled as a second offense, meaning you have 1 prior conviction, and a Class A non-person misdemeanor occurring on or about December 22nd, 2021 in Sumner County, Kansas. How do you wish to plead, sir?
Guilty.
Mr. Marcinski, a brief factual basis, please.
Yes, Your Honor, one moment, please. Your Honor, had this matter proceeded to trial, the state would have been prepared to show through the presentation of exhibits, testimony of witnesses, and other competent evidence that on or about December 22nd of 2021, initiating at the Kansas Star Casino in Sumner County, Kansas, that initially, this would be a Mulvane Police Department was notified by dispatch of a potential intoxicated driver. They made contact or saw the vehicle that had been relayed to them through dispatch on Kansas Highway 53. Again, that is in Sumner County, Kansas. That the officer witnessed multiple driving cues, including the vehicle crossing the center white fog line and also the left yellow line on the highway. At one point, the officer witnessed the vehicle travel into the gravel on the shoulder of the roadway. Officers then initiated a traffic stop. When the vehicle came to a stop, they had contact with the driver, Mr. Ruge. They then at that point apparently went through standard field sobriety tests with Mr. Ruge. It would appear that in the NGS isn't admissible at trial, so I'll leave that one alone. But on the walk and turn, that he showed 7 out of 8 clues, which indicated impairment. That on the one-legged stand, that he indicated 3 out of 4 possible clues, indicating impairment. At that point, officers requested I should also note that while the state has dismissed it, part of the officer's probable cause for the arrest was that they found two open alcoholic containers in the vehicle. At that point, officers arrested Mr. Ruge for driving while intoxicated. It appears that my attorney charged this on other competent evidence. I don't see that there's any outstanding blood tests or breathalyzer tests in regards to the incident. So it does appear that my traffic attorney charged this under the theory of other competent evidence of intoxication. At the time of this arrest, Your Honor, the state believes that Mr. Ruge had one prior conviction for DUI since July 1st of 2001, that occurring in Sumner County District Court case number 2008 CR 155. Mr. Wright failed to put the date of that conviction in here. I would have to go into full court and research that, but it does appear that the state would ask the court to take judicial notice of its own files in 2008 CR 155 for the basis of the prior DUI conviction that would elevate this to a DUI second. And so that would be the evidence that the state would seek to present in regards to the DUI count and count two.
Mr. Ruge, did you hear the factual presentation by the county attorney?
Yes, sir.
I'm not asking if you agree with everything he said, but do you agree that the state of Kansas has the ability to present that evidence at a trial if we had that trial?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Ruge, are you in fact guilty of this crime?
Yep.
Mr. Zolator, are you satisfied with the prior conviction, had opportunity to review that, go over it with your client and believe that's true and accurate?
Yes.
Court will accept Mr. Ruge's guilty plea and find he has voluntarily, knowingly, and intelligently waived his constitutional rights and entered his guilty plea. Court finds a factual basis for that guilty plea. Court finds he understands the nature of the charges and the consequences of his guilty plea. And as such, court will find Mr. Ruge guilty of count 2 in Sumner County case 2022 CR 1. Pursuant to plea agreement, the court will dismiss the remaining counts of the complaint. And we'll just schedule this matter for sentencing. Mr. Zolator, your proposed date for that?
Your Honor, I don't know if you typically do Thursdays. I looked at September 1st. I think that gives us enough time to get the evaluation and the evaluation back.
Mr. Morsinski?
Yeah, that should be fine, Judge. No objection.
Set sentencing for September 1st at 3:30. Mr. Ruge, you're ordered to obtain a drug and alcohol evaluation, as we need that as part of, before we can have sentencing. Ordered to appear in court September 1st at 3:30. That's in person unless Mr. Zolator advises you otherwise, and you can appear with him for sentencing. Stay in contact with your attorney as well between now and then. Do you have any questions, Mr. Ruge?
No, sir.
Mr. Zolator, anything else?
No, Your Honor, that will be in person. That's what you said, right?
I'm going to mark it in person or Zoom. I'm telling him he's going to be in person unless you tell him otherwise and appear by Zoom. So it's up to you.
Thank you. No question.
Mr. Morsinski, anything else in this case?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Ruge, I appreciate your appearance. See you again September 1st at 3:30.
All right. Thank you.
I will mute that for Mr. Ruge. 2021 CR 300, State of Kansas versus Gregory Worth. Council could have appearances, please.
Thank you, sir. Larry Marchinsky on behalf of the state of Kansas.
May it please the court, Mr. Worth appears not, but by through counsel, Kevin Zolator.
And let's see. Matters on for status this afternoon. Mr. Zolator, what can we do?
Your Honor, it's my understanding that Mr. Marchinsky and Mr. O'Hara, who's handling this for our office, have spoken. They've agreed to set this out. I think they're looking at a diversion. So with that in mind, I would ask for that same September 1st date. I think that gives enough time to get the application and review before that date.
That's correct, Your Honor. I did speak with Mr. O'Hara earlier today. I'd forgotten earlier that what we talked about, but we had discussed a diversion. I preliminarily have looked at Mr. Worth's case and preliminarily approved him for diversion. Mr. O'Hara advised that they would get an application in the next week. And so I think that 9/1 date would be certainly adequate. We should be able to have everything wrapped up well before that time.
Continue the matter to September 1st at 3:30, check diversion. And if it's filed before that date and time, we'll remove it from the docket. Any other cases for you, Mr. Zolator?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Good to see you. Appreciate your appearance. All the 3:30 cases I had, that just leaves Miss Fair's case. I've got Kelly McComb joining us.
Ms. McComb would be the listed victim in that case. I know that Ms. Zogelman has been handling that for me and dealing with Mr. Peck in regards to the disposition of that matter. I'm not sure. I was under the impression everything was going to happen today. So let me see if Aaron's had any communication with Martin. Yeah, no, it is. And he said Kelly McComb was already gone, but Mark Beckner would be found, Miss Fair would be found. So. All right, Judge. Well, Ms. Zogelman's ready to go. We're just waiting on Mr. Peck and Miss Fair. So.
Okay. There's Miss Zogelman. She's anticipating Mr. Peck appearing somehow.
I think that they had an announcement as regards to disposition here. At least they're getting pretty close to it, is my understanding. Your Honor, Ms. Zogelman has this for me, so I'm logging out. It's been a pleasure seeing you today. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you, sir. Miss Zogelman, did you anticipate Mr. Peck appearing today?
After I spoke with him yesterday, I thought he was going to be here. We had a discussion about what we were going to be doing with this case, and he indicated to me he was going to try and have some paperwork today to take care of it. And I've not heard from him either by way of receiving any kind of paperwork he was going to be working on to approve it or otherwise. So I don't know.
Okay. Well, I'll go check the clerk's office to see if they've heard from Mr. Peck. I saw him yesterday on another matter. We did not have any discussion about whether he was appearing today or what the status might be. Let me see if there's any update from the clerk's office. If not, we'll take direction. I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you. clerk's office would indicate Mr. Peck's not made any contact with them. I'm happy to take any recommendation you might have, Ms. Zogelman. My inclination would be to set it for next week, 3:45, order Ms. Fair to appear in person, or a bench warrant will issue.
I think that would probably be appropriate, Your Honor.
And if anything gets filed, I mean, you believe you've reached a resolution for the case?
I think so, yes.
If that's signed off on by the parties and filed before July 21st at 3:45, no appearances.
Okay.
I understand Ms. McComb's the victim of the case. Ms. McComb, did you hear that, ma'am? I see her microphone's working, but July 21st at 3:45, appear a bench warrant. And Ms. Zogelman, if you can make sure Miss or any of the victims know about that.
Okay, yep, we will do that.
That's all I have on the docket. Mr. Macy, anything from you, sir?
Always a pleasure, Judge.
See you. Thank you, Mr. Hollis. Thank you, Ms.